again, welcome. We are so excited to be here today talking to you about supporting the whole athlete and really the effort between Mental Health First Aid and the NCAA D3 Athletics. So my name is Ashley Connor. I am our Senior Client Development Partner here for Mental Health First Aid. And I will turn it over to my colleague as well, Jen, who can introduce herself. And we will be your presenters today.
Thanks, Ashley. And hello, everybody. My name is Jen Cox. I am the manager of our National Trainer Network for Mental Health First Aid USA. These are individuals that I get the privilege of working with every day who are instructors of mental health first aid and train people all across the United States to deliver these conversations and our fidelity-based curriculum in communities and colleges all around the United States. So delighted to be a part of this conversation with you here today. And we really want you to engage with us while we have this short time together. So as you see on your screen, we have just a few reminders and prompts that we will have actually the Q&A box open. It's circled on the chat for some reason, but we have the Q&A box open for you. So as we move through the conversation, if anything comes up and you're like, hey, what about this? Or how do I get involved? Anything that spurs your curiosity or interest, please use that Q&A box. We have team members on here that are going to be watching it. Ashley and I will also be watching it while each and the other one is presenting. But we want to make sure and answer as many questions as we possibly can in our time together. But if not, we don't have time or we have too many, we will be able to get back to you with some responses to those. So use the Q&A freely and please engage with us as we move through our conversation here together. Ashley's going to give you a little introduction about who the National Council for Mental Wellbeing is, and then I'm going to step back in here as well. So you'll see us share the time to talk together. So Ashley, let's let them know who we are and where we're from.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, Jen. So we mentioned we are with Mental Health First Aid, but that is just a little piece of the puzzle. So we are actually with the National Council for Mental Wellbeing. We are a membership organization. We are based out of Washington, D.C., however, a remote first company. So I happen to be based in Minnesota and Jen is in Ohio. And so we get the opportunity to have some really cool conversations with individuals throughout the states. We really drive policy and change. That is our goal. So, there are over 30 million people across the U.S. who do not have affordable, comprehensible mental health and substance use treatment. And that's where we come in. We really focus on public and health policies, workforce development, and integrated health. We have been on the front lines. We work on Hill Day all of the time, fighting to ensure that Americans really receive the care that they need and that they deserve. So that means equitable access to services by building capacity, care delivery, all of those good things. And so we are really guided by our mission, which is recovery. And that includes recovery from substance use as well, because in reality, mental health and substance use challenges are everywhere. And that is why we are here. It is what we do. It's our passion and it's our purpose. So every day across the country, communities are facing individual and unique challenges. And so we are just wanting to connect those individuals and, again, just get them the treatment that we deserve. You can see there the impact. We have 229 plus CCBHCs. I will definitely let you Google and research those, but it's really embedded in integrated care and quality care for the whole person. We have created $15 million for substance use treatment and substance use disorders in workforce loan development and programs. And the really cool thing that we get to talk to you about today, more specifically, is mental health first aid. Really proud to share that we have trained over 4 million individuals in the US alone in this curriculum. And we've trained over 15,000 instructors, which means that we have trained over 15,000 people to facilitate this curriculum throughout their communities, which is really fantastic. So that's just a brief overview of National Council. But before we really kick in to talk about why you're all here today to help support your student athletes, want to just do a quick poll question that we're going to pop up here for you all.
Yeah, and the poll that you see up here, please know that your names are not going to be recorded with this. It is absolutely anonymous in this regard. And we just want to get a feel of right now, today, in the here and now, how confident are you currently in your ability to support student athlete mental health and well-being? So if someone's struggling, one of your students is struggling with a mental health or a substance use challenge, how confident are you in knowing how to initiate that conversation and then activate supports for them? So go ahead and pick which level of confidence you have, and submit it down there at the bottom. Don't forget to submit or we won't get to see it. And we just want to get a pulse to see where we are feeling our confidence and our awareness and our skills. We'll give you just a moment to do that. Because I mean, having conversations about mental health and well-being, just as you're thinking about this, it's not comfortable all the time for everyone. This is if you'll notice, sometimes our student athletes actually are much more comfortable than we are as the adults that guide them and lead them and coach them in the world that they're navigating. Generations have different comfort levels, roles and positions have different comfort levels, and then just us as unique human beings are going to have different levels of interest and capacity for this. And that's where mental health first aid steps in. I love that we're seeing these numbers come up. Thank you for those of you who are able to respond. If you're in the car or driving and listening to us, whatever, please don't try to do anything extra. But we just, again, wanted to get a pulse check to kind of see where we're at. And it looks like we're in that kind of median level, that somewhat comfort zone. And that's good. That's okay. The best thing about this, and thank you for responding, is that you're curious and you want to learn how to do this, or better ways to possibly do this, that you're naturally engaging with your student athletes. That's what we're here to support you with, providing that opportunity for. And walking hand in hand with NCAA is giving you that opportunity to increase your awareness, build your literacy, and ultimately, if you choose to, build your skills specifically around how to respond, actually to identify, understand, and respond to the challenges or the concerns that we have ourselves and for our student athletes. So with that in mind, just a little bit of an insight into what we're here to do and why this partnership has developed. And number one, it's for the best interest and the whole health well-being, as we started with our title, of our athletes within our Division III schools. The NCAA has done a lot of research in regard to wellness and well-being and mental health with student athletes. And we have this conversation and this partnership opportunity, this journey to walk side by side to support you all in that, and to us as a greater collective to make conversations about mental health and well-being less stigmatizing, more accessible, and be able to get people to the help that they need when they need it and for what they actually need it for in the most appropriate way. So this opportunity for you to take part of or host these trainings or take them yourself is to build literacy, as I mentioned before, to support long-term wellness that we all know we can probably do a better job at. But if we're starting it with our young people, our young adults who are moving into their lives and their careers, sports related or not, we can actually reduce the stigma and build that whole health capacity that each and every single one of us has the potential for. But you know, it's a beautiful way for us to navigate and walk together side by side and provide opportunities and resources. So one thing that is really important as we start this conversation is to recognize the feedback that our young people, our student athletes, are sharing with us. And a lot of the research that's been happening, really, especially since COVID, millions of our students are telling us that they're stressed out. They're burnt out, they're stressed out, they're feeling like no matter what they can do or what they are doing, that sometimes their well-being is being sacrificed in order to meet the achievements or the pressures or whatever they have on themselves or in the environment. And as your eyes are scanning through some of these bubbles that are on the screen, it's really, there's a few that I want to point out. The first one is on the top left, that 1 in 3 adults ages 18 to 25, which are right there in that college experience, will experience or have experienced a mental health challenge during our COVID experience. That's just within the last 5 years. It challenged so many of us. But when we're literally, for those of us that are reporting and saying 1 in 3, think of how many of us on this call today maybe were impacted in a way that we weren't prepared for. Add on the demands and the stressors and the additional challenges that being in a higher education environment contribute. And it's all about growth, but it's also a lot when you think about the life stage that we're living in at 18, 19, 17 years old for some of our younger students coming in, and all the changes that are happening in their environment internally for themselves. And now we through this experience of whatever this pandemic was, it's a lot. It's a lot to navigate. As you kind of jump through each one of the data points that are up here, half of our young people also think that mental health is top priority. And it's a high priority within the athletics division. I've had the privilege of getting to work with professional sports as well as collegiate sports. And our professional sports literally are pairing our mental health and well-being with our mental skills training. Those of you that are coaches or athletic trainings, you understand that those two worlds used to collide. They might do that a little bit now as well, but they're finding the branch and the connections in so many more ways that are allowing these conversations to happen differently. And you all can be a huge part of that. And we're so thrilled to be able to bring you into this conversation. Now, with this data aside, we want to focus and just give you a little insight. And you might know some of this already, but some of the top issues that our student athletes face, in addition to the fact that they're 18, 17 years old, 19 years old, their bodies and brains aren't even done developing yet. We have compounded things that add to their stress and their burnout and their anxiety. Because life for this age group is intensely pressured. There's oftentimes where the expectations either they place on themselves for performance, or that their family members, coaches, the fans, teammates, what is placed upon them. And it's not with the intention to inhibit. Usually it's with the intention to help them grow and be even better at what they're doing in all the different factors. But many of our student athletes, in that relentless pursuit of perfection, it takes a toll on themselves. It takes a toll on their academic capacities and all the other things that you see on the screen with these different visual, finances, the burnout, the fear of failure, the stress levels, the mood changes of anxiety and maybe sadness or depression. We're seeing high rates of eating disorders in our young people in college, especially those who are engaged in athletics. That challenge on the body and keeping ourselves at prime condition. There's a lot of variety and a lot of spectrum of experience, and the person's individual capacity can really be challenged in ways that increases their risk for mental health challenges in addition to develop. These challenges, you see them, we have the reality, but when we stop and really take all of these in and understand the impact on the whole health of our athletes, not just their mental or their physical, long gone are the days of when we used to say, just brush, stand up, brush the dirt off and keep it moving again. While that can work in some situations, there's so much more and so many other factors that are important that we at least keep in our frame of reference. There's this old misperception that people thought, well, we're in sports, right? We're in athletics. That's exercise. That's healthy. That means our mental health is going to be absolutely on top of it because exercise makes us happy. Well, yes, in many situations it does, and it can. And moving our bodies, especially in prescribed and researched ways and sports activities, it can help and boost those endorphins and happy hormones. But the struggle and the additional factors here make this complex and really a journey that for some of our young students, and some of us, to be honest, it does increase our risk for injury. It can increase our risk with overtraining, unrealistic expectations, the list goes on and on. Please recognize that some of these challenges, one is a part of a person's experience. It doesn't predict that they're going to have a mental health issue, but the more of these we see, the higher the risk there is. And I just want us to hear that. It doesn't prescribe that there's going to be an issue, but the more we see, it does increase the potential possibility that someone will navigate something like a mental health challenge. So thinking about that and thinking about the students that you engage in, and maybe even the years of coaching or involvement at whatever level you've been in student athletics, you probably can say, I've seen that, or I've seen this journey go in one direction. And we're here to say, yes, that could happen. But also with those of us watching as the adults in their space, we can decrease the opportunity for that, increase the protective factors, which are the counterbalance to the risk I just showed you. And it helps improve resilience. We all have capacity for resilience, but by being able to attend to this, to know what to look for, and more importantly, how to be responsive, not reactive, we can really decrease the likelihood of developing a mental health challenge, but increasing the whole health capacity and resilience capacity of our students and honestly, our team as a whole. So addressing challenges front end, the prevention, right? Just what we do to decrease the opportunities for injuries happening with our athletes and our bodies ourselves, but also then bringing up our own confidence to know when and how to connect with a young person with these challenges, but then where to go then, to know the resources and the supports that are available on campus, within the team structure, and then outside in the community. That's a lot of times where we get a hole and we sometimes miss where to go next and how to really support someone. So as we think about this and we think about some strategies, some of this you're going to think and look at and say, we do that already. And thank you for doing that. We want to absolutely acknowledge the amazing things that are happening in our athletics facilities, among our teams, among the support structures that are there. We want to help you with increasing that. And by the way, maintaining it. Because there's going to be struggles down the road. There's going to be challenges that our athletes are going to face and that we are going to face. And if we can get these 7 things as a part of our everyday, we can really help decrease that experience of pressure that our athletes may be internalizing in different ways and find out ways that we can support them both with their internal navigation, but also the external, the structure, the environment that we create and that we're a part of to decrease these possibilities of mental health challenges. Now, our athletes, we know, we admire them, right? Many of you are athletes, right? You went up on your own through the elementary and the high school and played in college athletics or were engaged in it in some way. And we take a lot of pride in our capacity to do things. This will help you increase your own capacity in addition to the capacity and the performance capacity of your young people. Recognizing this as adults, these 7 tips. Number 1, it's about the environment that's around, right? Support. Letting our young people know and the collective know that this involves all of us. And if we can do this in a comprehensive way, it sets a foundation for everything to be able to move in that growth mindset and in the healthiest capacity as we can. Our athletes, they need support as individuals, as teams, and you all need it as organizations, which you're getting through this relationship and these opportunities that can come to your campus if it feels right for you. So let's look at the team dynamics. Let's play a active and conscious role in looking at our environments and saying, hey, what can we prioritize? What are we doing well? And how can we continue to keep this to be supportive? It's about emphasizing a balance. And to be honest, I kind of like the word harmony instead of balance. Balance feels a little bit like there has to be a give and take, which we know there will be. But more importantly, where can we have the things that are working and functioning well live together? Right? Not sacrificing one to get the other, but how can they coexist? Even if someone has an injury, how are they still a part of the team? How do we incorporate them into the things that are happening? That's where this harmony balance concept comes through. And it's really important for the maintenance of the supportive culture that you have and that you're looking to expand and continue to help flourish. We obviously, the third one, want to promote literacy. Being able to say, hey, I know the difference between a mental health challenge, a mental health disorder. I understand that there are more factors than I'm just having a bad day, suck it up and move on kind of mentality. There's a time and a place for all of it, but the hope here is to build our own literacy, educate ourselves as these models and these adults that are in the lives of our young people. They watch what we do, how we live, and how we talk. Let's make sure that we're setting the stage and building and making sure our own literacy is on par with what's current, what's accurate, and eliminate some of these misperceptions and misperceptions of mental health and challenges that can develop. It's about communication. I know as a team, you got to communicate. We all know that. On the field, communication, the result is whether we're not making the scores or taking care of each other or the injuries that are happening, communication has to happen from every position, every role. The athletic trainers to the coaches to the marketing people, everybody plays a role in this. So how do we do the communication in a way that is focused in whole health in optimal environment? It's about encouraging as well. The fifth one here, educating ourselves. You work in higher education. And I said live, you kind of do, right? You spend more time in your jobs and in the athletics department than you do at home. Let's just be real about it. How are we educating ourselves? How are we supporting the growth mindset that our universities and colleges across the United States are constantly supporting? That's why they're there. How are we doing it comprehensively and looking at all the factors that may or may not be supportive for our young people and their journey through whatever their next step is going to be, whether it includes athletics or not. It's about finding and utilizing the supports and the programs that are around for us. The sixth and seventh part of this are a little bit about you individually, but a lot about encouraging our student athletes by modeling it for ourselves. It's about taking those plans of how are we taking care of who we are? Are we doing things that keep us at our optimum level of functioning? And when we ebb and flow and those parts that get a little harder to do happen and we need a little more energy or little supports, how are we navigating through that and sharing with those that are around us and the students that are watching and paying attention to how we model for them how to live, how to manage, how to navigate the changes and the successes that happen for us? It's about developing those plans and maintaining and adjusting them along the way as we need to do that. And lastly, it's about speaking up. Our student athletes, they are not immune to struggle, but they need to know that they have support. They need to know if they reach out to someone and they're vulnerable in that moment of perfection, that coach, that trainer, that other athlete that's beside them is willing to hear and not judge where they're at, but acknowledge it and then find the different ways, just like we would if we're trying to improve a skill. How do we acknowledge the ways that we can get back on there? What skills do we have? Tools do we have so that we can right ourselves or come out of that dark place or find the energy or strength or whatever it is to move forward? We need to encourage our young people to speak up, but also be there sometimes as the voice for them as the adults in their lives in case they don't have the language or needs or know where to go, that we can help to speak up and let them know they're not alone and that they do have a team that will look at their whole health and capacity. That's what this opportunity is with Mental Health First Aid, and this opportunity to learn and to grow yourself. Ashley is going to talk to us a little bit about what this opportunity looks like for you, how to come into the game with us in regards to learning these skills and this literacy. And do know that we're going to be here to walk beside you and your college and your divisions, along with NCAA, to really look at the whole health and well-being of you as the supports, but also of our athletes in general. So Ashley, can you tell them about a little bit what this Mental Health First Aid thing is and how they can get involved?
Yeah, thanks, Jen. So you did a wonderful job of really kind of capturing the unique ecosystem that you all are in. I've had many conversations with several D3 institutions at this point in time, and it's becoming very clear to me what a lovely but very unique environment you're all in. So Jen did a great job of really giving that overview, but really, again, just reiterating, Mental Health First Aid is really meant to help you all take that fear out of having these conversations. Sometimes when students come to us and share about a thought or experience, that can be very scary. And so how can we lean into that conversation, feel just a little bit more confident, and again, helping to get them to the place that they need to be, those resources. So important. And that's really what's embedded here. We follow a 5-step action plan. So we give you these tools and these skills. We've dubbed it ALGAE. So you're going to be approaching, constantly assessing situations, listening non-judgmentally, giving reassurance and support, encouraging appropriate resources, which can be really multifaceted, multi-layered. But then you're also, to Jen's point, you're also going to take care of yourself. You're also going to encourage your own self-care. Because as you're opening up these conversations, we don't want the opposite effect to happen. We don't want you to take that burden on and start bringing it home with you. So practicing what you're preaching to all of these individuals, really just helping, again, build that confidence level. So what does this all mean for you? How does this come into play for you and your institutions? We have had the good fortune of having some incredible conversations with NCAA. And when they approached us, they said, we want to support you all we want to support all of our D3 institutions by providing this training to them specifically for their head coaches and their trainers, so that they can feel more comfortable and confident, again, to have those conversations when they arise. They're happening all day, every day on campuses, in communities. And so that was really important. So if you are a D3 institution and you have sports, you qualify, which is great. The best thing about this, and what I love about these conversations, is that with this relationship we talked about as we were building out this program, we wanted to eliminate barriers, which means we don't have to talk about a contracting process. We don't have to talk about a funding source or dollar amount. We get to shelve those, which makes my conversation with you all incredibly fun, because we don't need to talk about those things. We simply get to talk about who you are as an institution, what your student athlete population is, and how we can support you with this training. So that is what qualifies you. We're going to give you a QR code here at the end as well that will allow you just to go straight to the landing page to schedule a call with me so that we can talk through that a bit more and get you set up. Wanted to share a couple of testimonials with you, however, from some of our D3 institutions who have been implementing mental health first aid. They've done a fantastic job, and really, Jen and I can share why we love it, but it's always really, really nice to hear from folks who are doing it in environments that are very similar to your own. So go ahead, take a look at those for a few moments. Again, they'll be on the PowerPoints that will be shared out with you at the end, so you can certainly take a look at them a little bit more in depth. And as you're reading through those, we're going to do just another quick little poll. Again, we like polls here at Mental Health First Aid. We like to gauge where everybody's at. So we'll go ahead and launch that poll. And really, we're just asking, after kind of hearing about this, how hopeful are you that this type of training will help you and your staff better support your student athletes on campus? Very hopeful, unsure. I need more information. Any and all answers are okay. I talked to people who have gone through the training before, to some who said, I've never heard of you before. I love it. We get to talk about all things in between. So if you just want to take a couple seconds and go ahead and fill that out, that would be fantastic.
And Ashley, while they're doing that, before we wrap up here, I just want to mention that the delivery of this course, if you choose to bring it to your campus, is done by our subject matter experts, our national trainers who are living mental health first aid literally every single day. That team of individuals will be there, right there for you to help you navigate the journey and to deliver these conversations and support you in your learning and your connection to resources. At the end of taking the courses, you do a little pre-work, you have some instructor-led time. It's about 5.5 hours of content, but at the end you finish with a 3-year certification as a mental health first aider. So just like for CPR and first aid, get a 2-year cert. This is 3 years. And by the way, you can add it to your resumes, making sure that it's identified as a first aider and utilize this in any way that can additionally support you, the culture, and your division. So know that you do get an actual 3-year certification at the end of this, should you choose to be a part of it. So Ashley,
you can throw it on your LinkedIn and your signature line as well. We love it.
Love it. So our last thing is in the invitation. We hope you've learned just a little bit in our time here together. We are so thrilled that you decided to log in and say, hey, I'm curious. I want to know a little bit more. Ashley mentioned this QR code. Get your phones out. We know you have them. They're in your hand right now. They're everywhere with us. Scan the code or send us an email to the website provided. You will get a PDF of these. The recording is going to be on the Division III webinar homepage. So if you want to share it with someone else that didn't get a chance to join us, or you just need to hear it again, that is will be available to you here very, very soon. But this QR code here is going to get you directly in touch with our team and Ashley, and we can help you if you choose to bring this to your teams, your division, to your college campuses, and would be delighted to do that. Anything else, Ashley, that we need to share before we wrap up? I know we have. Do we have any questions in there, Katie, that we possibly missed?
We have a couple.
Okay.
I think the first one, maybe a more simple question. How long does it take to set up a mental health first aid training?
Fantastic question. Pretty quick and easy, because again, we've removed that contracting process. So as Jen mentioned, we have these fabulous people coming out to you. You get to choose the day that you want us there. We are wanting to be flexible with your schedules. You have 30 spots to fill. That can be sometimes kind of hard to coordinate with 30 people. So we will come to you when you want us. I just need about a 30-day leeway just to make sure that we can get them assigned and their travel booked and get your rosters ready. But other than that, that's about all we need, is about a 30-day leeway.
Yep.
Perfect. And one other question is all we got. How do you recertify, and is that covered as well?
Jen, I can take that one too, either one.
Yeah, so recertification happens at the end of your 3 years, pretty close to the end. You'll get notification from Mental Health First Aid USA to say, hey, you're coming up to the end of your 3 years. How would you like to recertify? And there's options, whether it's an instructor-led course, an online delivery. And 3 years from now, who knows? Maybe a robot will come to your room. I don't know what's going to happen in 3 years, but you will be provided options and connections to be able to do that as an individual first aider and or as a collective for your college and university. We'll stay in contact with you. It's not just do the training, hope it works, see you later. This is a relationship that we'll develop with you to help you along the way. So hopefully that helps.
Yeah. And I just see one more question that came in. How long is the training? That's a great question. Thank you for asking it. So you are going to have about 2 hours of self-paced pre-learning ahead of time. You'll have about 30 days to complete that. So it's start, stop, go in when you can, leisure, all good. That does need to be completed prior to the training date. Then when we come out to you, our 2 trainers are going to come out and facilitate the bulk of the curriculum for you, the good stuff. So that is going to be about a 6-hour time period. We have breaks built into that so that you have the time to kind of get up, do what you need to do. You can have a working lunch. We're flexible though. If you're like, oh, that's a long time, I need a true 30-minute break in there. Go for it. We can add that 30-minute break in there for you as well. So similar to CPR, first aid, it's a full day training. And hopefully that answers your question, but about 6.5 hours. And then additionally, there's a little bit of post work that's required at the end to actually earn this pre-certification. It doesn't take very long, 45 minutes, maybe an hour. You can probably get through it in 30 if you really wanted to. So that's about the longevity of the training. That's a great question though. Thank you for asking it.
And there is an option too, whether you do it full day or 2 half days. We can also break it in half in the middle if it works better for you on your campus. But that's what the conversation with Ashley will be able to work through, and we'll find the best fit and the best way to make this work for your participants. Is that it? Any other questions?
I don't see any others coming in.
All right. Well, we are absolutely delighted again to have had this time. We're just a couple minutes over there, but we will stay. And please use that QR code, the website, the landing page that we share with NCAA, as well as the email there that we'll take a look at. And the team is ready. We have trainings already scheduled in many of your campuses, and we cannot wait over the next duration of this initiative to be able to bring this and have these conversations and support you all in the wonderful work that you're doing for student athletes. So thank you so much for the time. Thank you to the NCAA team that we get to do all of this. But take the link, send us a message. We'll talk to you. It's not just because you reach out to us doesn't mean it has to be done, but we definitely know it'll be worth your time, and we will make it just a wonderful experience as possible to help you as we move forward. So thank you so much, everybody.
Yes, thank you so much.